Dr. Singhvi, I really want to understand from you that this particular order by the Metropolitan Court, has it opened a Pandora's box as far as the investigation into the electoral bond case is concerned? Because last August, Supreme Court had dismissed any sort of inquiry into the case, and after which now the Metropolitan Court has ordered an inquiry. Of course, now the case is long. We do not know how long it will be. Has it opened a Pandora's box? And this investigation could really unearth those features which really have not come out.
No, the Supreme Court has never quashed, stopped, or prohibited an individual or a individuated criminal investigation. The Supreme Court said that on a general basis, we are not taking any action. They already quashed. They quashed the scheme of the electoral bonds anyway.
Yes.
This is a specific criminal complaint. This is nothing to do with the Supreme Court prohibition. Now, this criminal complaint can go forward. It can lead to all the steps I've told you, 4 steps, or it can be quashed by the High Court. That's a matter to be seen. But there's no question of this filing of this complaint being prohibited by the Supreme Court.
Does it give you more, does it make you hopeful that there will something happen as far as the investigation into the electoral bonds is concerned?
Let me tell you, electoral bonds, you have to step back a little bit and see the thing in the larger perspective. These are some of those things which are conceived in sin, executed by stealth, implemented by malafides. The very concept, the very design of this concept is opacity. The very object is one-sidedness. I am in government. Somebody buys the electoral bond. The ruling party is the natural beneficiary because people are not foolish to waste their money on non-ruling parties easily. And nobody can find out. It's not good enough to say that, look, Neelu Vyas can apply to SBI and they will have all the published things. We never had it. All these years, simple answer is, you got it only when the Supreme Court. And remember, don't forget one thing. Supreme Court, and I blamed at that time and I blame again, in the initial years, unnecessarily delayed adjudication of this issue. And I would squarely blame the delay. It should not have been allowed to happen. And it is, I think, a credit and a kudos to the current dispensation of the Supreme Court that took up the matter. And after they took up the matter and they passed an order clearly saying whatever I've said. What did the SBI do, Neelu? Do you remember that? After the judgment, the SBI comes and says, we want a few days to revert.
Yes.
After a few days, they come and say, sir, I'm very sorry, we need 6 months. I'm the SBI of the country. I need 6 months to start collating. The Supreme Court said, rubbish. You're not extending the timeline, do it tomorrow. And they ultimately came out with the information. So what is this happening? This is an attempt to block, to conceal, to obfuscate, to digress, to divert. And it was only when they were forced to the wall that you got this thing. And this thing came out, therefore, because it was designed for opacity and for obscurity.
You've explained it very well, that what the scheme looks like and how has it been designed. The intentions also look very, very obvious. But where do you think does the buck stop in this case? Would it be just enough by saying that, Nirmala Sitharaman should resign, the finance minister? Or
Obviously not. You know very well. I know very well. The Janta knows very well. The country knows very well. I just said this is well above her pay grade. She cannot decide to design and implement this. This is like demonetization. Could you do it? Could the top minister in the country do it? You cannot. It's obvious. So we all know the buck starts and the buck stops at number 1. In fact, at the highest, you can assume that the original design will be known even at the most number 2. That's it. There is no number 3 involved. There is no number 4, 5, 6.
But how hopeful are you now as far as, I don't know what's going to happen now in this Karnataka High Court case, because the other day when Adarsh Iyer, the main complaint went, so they said that you are not directly the aggrieved. This is what Karnataka High Court had to say. And now, of course, they have to give an explanation. And I think on 22nd of October, the next hearing is put for. But do you think that, can we expect something earth-shattering at the Karnataka High Court?
Legal adjudication is not and should not be, in this sensationalism or shattering, as you put it. There's a process. I cannot second guess, nor am I here to discuss subjudice the outcome issue basis or the merits basis. It is entirely possible that the challenger before the single judge is dismissed. In other words, the complainant wins. It's equally possible that the complaint is quashed. That I cannot say, but I can certainly say that assuming that the complaint is quashed, the complainant has a further right to appeal. It's not going to end here. Secondly, it is not a question of you being personally aggrieved. There are certain matters where a FIR raising in rem can be raised. And this is a larger issue where the investigation only started. And if there is harassment, even of relatives, even of close persons, this can be sustained, but that will be decided ultimately by the court.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.